Hey folks, welcome back. So today we're doing a quick little garden high tunnel update video. A few of you guys had been asking how things were going, so I figured we'd just make a quick little video today and kind of show what things are looking like. So the tomatoes are coming in strong right now, so the first thing what we're going to work on is getting some of those picked, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. So as you can kind of see, the paste tomatoes are they are not having it getting strung up like this. Like I said when I was putting these up originally, I think if I got into them sooner, this might have gone better for these ones. Done a little bit of trimming on it, gotten fewer vines or whatever they are, and I think it would have worked a little bit better, but there's too many vines, and they were already kind of too spread out when I tried putting them up. But these guys over here, these are doing really, really well. They're like about 7 feet tall, about as high up as I can reach, and they're still putting on height. I mean, I come out here and it looks like they put on a few inches every day. So they're doing really well with trellising them up like this, stringing them up and tying them up to the cross beams up there. All right, so over in this area where I had some potatoes last year, I've decided to throw a few pumpkins in here, and it may be a little late to get these in to actually get some pumpkins before stuff starts getting froze off, but I've already started the plants anyway, so we might as well put them out here and see if I can't get something from them. And I should have gotten these planted a little while ago. Got roots coming out the bottom of them, but it is what it is. I'll split the sides of these little individual areas open so I'm not ripping off all these roots that are already started. So in here in the high tunnel, we're going to do a little different experiment. I tried planting some cucumbers earlier this year and none of them germinated. I bought some new seed, and obviously these came up just fine. Again, I don't know if these are really going to fruit just because it's getting kind of late in the year. These probably have a better chance because they're going to be somewhat protected inside here. But anyway, I want to try two different things with these. I'm going to plant 3 of them right over here in this area that I kind of smoothed out and got some of the rocks and weeds out of here. We're going to put 3 of them in here, and I want to try trellising up kind of like I did with the tomatoes at the other end. I don't know if that'll work or not. It may not, but it sounded interesting, so I figured, you know, might as well give it a try. So put 3 of them over here. We'll give that a go. Start kind of stringing them up as they get a little bit taller. And then the other 3, I'm going to plant down towards the other end, kind of near where I've got some watermelons down there. And then we'll just let those kind of go wherever they want and see how they both do and whether this even works and one does better than the other. But the first thing is I need to get the hose turned on and soak down this area through here, because obviously, since it's covered over, it doesn't get any rain, and in all the areas where I don't have plants, I'm not putting water on it, so this is very, very, very dry. actually kind of surprised. This is a little bit damp down in there. I didn't think it would be, but I guess maybe it's close enough to the edge that the water that runs off the edge of the high tunnel, it's still kind of soaking in this far. But I did not expect it to be still be damp underneath here. More just the upper inch or so of this that's dried out. So at the same end of the high tunnel where we got the tomatoes, I threw in a couple of watermelon plants down here. And I'm not sure if I showed planting these or not, but obviously they're doing all right. I didn't get real great germination off of them. I planted like 6 little hills around in here, and I think only 2 of them came up. So they didn't do real well, but the 2 that came up are doing quite well once they finally started growing. I haven't gotten to pick any of these yet. That one right over there is the biggest one. It was the first one that started coming on, but the little vine where it's connected to is still green. So I've got to wait a little bit longer yet before I can cut into one of those and see what it tastes like. And of course you just saw those cucumbers put in, so there's not really anything to show with those. The carrots, they need weeding again. That's the way it goes. But they're doing well, and I've been pulling up some of these and eating them, and they've been pretty good. There's a little bit of a slight bitter taste, I guess, to it, and I'm not sure if that's going to go away with time as they get a little bit older, or if it starts cooling down, maybe that'll affect it. I don't know, and that's why I haven't pulled up all of them. I'm just kind of leaving them here and using them, or pulling them up as I want them, and just kind of seeing how they go, and maybe when the weather starts cooling down a little bit, they'll sweeten up, but that's still a bit of an experiment in progress. And over here on the opposite side, of course, we've got the peppers. These guys up here are the bell peppers, and they're coming in all right. Got some small ones there. I've got actually, I think this guy, right, that one looks ready to pick to me. We'll go ahead and grab that guy. That's got some decent size to it. That's the first one of those that I've gotten. Then let's see. Next up here we got the jalapenos, and they're doing really well. I've picked some of these. Most of these are still green. I've seen a couple of them that are starting to. I thought there was one under here. Yeah, one down there that's starting to turn red. Although looks like it might have a bug in it, so that one's no good. But these guys have been doing really well. I mean, you can just see how many of them are in here. They're loaded down. Some of these you can see there, they're getting that chocolate color, so those are about ready to turn red. They'll be real pretty when they do that. And then down here, these are the habaneros, and they're doing pretty well too. They got a little bit stunted back at one point. I didn't get the high tunnel opened up early enough one day, and it got really hot in here, and some of the tops got kind of burnt back with these. But this one down here at the end is just loaded down with them. I mean, there's just bunches and bunches of big ones in this one here at the end. The rest of these are a little bit smaller down through here, but this one's this one's got a bunch of them in there. Now, one thing that I didn't show was right through here was where I had the onions, and I already pulled those up. The tops were kind of falling over, and so they were ready to go. They did okay. Wasn't real great. I didn't have super great germination with those, just from when I was planting the seed, and then when I transplanted them out here again, I lost more when I did that. So I need to figure out something better with that. It kind of seemed like I may have just gotten some bad seed from the place that I ordered, because there's just a bunch of things that just, it didn't seem like they germinated well. But anyways, I already got those up. There wasn't a whole lot of them, maybe, I don't know, 20, couple dozen, something like that, that ended up making it to harvest. So those are already out of there, and they did, yeah, kind of so-so. Now, one thing that's done really well have been the herbs, and again, there's some weeds growing in there that I need to pull. This is the thyme, and there the oregano's getting kind of buried in between the thyme and the basil, but that's right down in there. Basil did amazingly well. This is like, I don't know, 2-3 feet tall, or I guess that would be a meter-ish for those of you that use the metric system. Sage came in real nice. The cilantro and the dill it's on the way out, and you can see the dill's kind of falling over here, but it got up probably a solid 6 or 7 feet tall, or 2 meters. Yeah, but these are both kind of just about done here for the year. I had planted some chives somewhere in here, some chive seeds, and those never came up. That was another thing that just, it didn't germinate. I attempted doing some cabbages, and you can kind of see how well those are going, which is not very. Not sure if I'll get anything out of there, and if I do, whether they'll be any good. Had a good bit of bugs nibbling on these, so it's hard telling what, if anything, will come of these two plants. And then these guys down here, those are some elderberry plants, and those were, I got some little shoots that were given to me earlier this year, so I just threw those in some pots, and not quite sure where those will get planted, but those will have to get put someplace sometime, maybe later this year. And then out here in the potato patch, even though I did a really good job of getting this weeded out a few weeks or more, it's obviously got a whole bunch more growing back in here. These are just, they're actually ready to be harvested. You can see right down in here, this is all that's left of the plants. They're pretty well died off, so there's not really anything left of those. So I'm not quite sure. I may try weed eating this stuff down, try getting the weeds knocked back. Might go through and pull them, I don't know. Need to clean this up somehow, and then go through and we'll dig them and see what came up for this year. Like I said before, it was kind of weird because that end of the patch just did not do well, and it was everything. It was the potatoes, the weeds, all of it. Like, nothing seemed to be growing well down at that end, so I'm not quite sure what happened. But down at this side, things seem to do pretty well, so I'm curious to see what all we got for down at this side. Now, one thing I may try doing is doing some fall crops in here, putting like some leafy greens and stuff like that. I'm kind of curious to see how well those are due and how long into the fall winter I'll be able to keep growing those. At a certain point, I think the stuff stops growing because it quits getting the daylight hours that it needs in order to grow. It should stay fairly warm in here throughout the fall and winter, just because it's a high tunnel, so it holds the heat. And it gets really warm in here during the day, so that's not really a problem, but I think it's more the sunlight hours. But I'm kind of curious to see how long I might be able to coax stuff along into the winter if I plant some fall crops in here a little bit later this year. So that's kind of all I've got to show at the moment for stuff that's growing in here and what I've been doing. Like I said, we're going to be digging up the potatoes pretty soon and see what I got for that. And then hopefully we'll be doing a little bit of fall crops in here and getting some stuff planted, doing a little bit with that and seeing how that goes. But that's going to be it for today's video. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.